Today we're going to talk about Ayurvedic herbs. And the first thing I wanted to do was show you this book. And this book has, along with it, 7 other volumes. Now, what this book says is the database on medicinal plants used in Ayurveda. And down underneath, where I'll show you again, the Central Council for Research in Ayurveda and Siddha, Department of ISM&H, Ministry of Health, Family Welfare, the Government of India. And so this book was put together by the Government of India. And why? Because it's traditional medicine. There are over 500,000 practicing Ayurvedic physicians in India today. And there are 262 university hospitals. And Ayurveda treats every disease known to man. To understand how a traditional science that doesn't use steroids, that doesn't use any pharmaceuticals, okay, and how it works and why it cures people and why it has been used throughout India's history. And now it is a well-known approach in the US. And what I've done is studied Ayurveda since the 1980s. I've written 2 books. I taught at Santa Rosa Junior College in the adult program for 8 years. And I have used it in my clinic since the 1987, I think. And so I use it on every single patient to understand what is their body type, what is their current complaint. I add in what the season is and the age, and then I use those parameters, which are the cornerstone of Ayurveda, and I choose what combination of these 6,000 herbs I should use. And for 20 years, I had Dr. Narendra Pensy and sometimes his wife, Aruna Pensy, and even his daughter, who graduated from Ayurvedic school and is now both a medical doctor and an Ayurvedic physician, as is Dr. Pensy, come to my practice and go through every patient with me, with my charts, and teach me Ayurveda. And so I am a what they call the Gurukula. And that is that I've been taught Ayurveda by teacher, practitioner, an Ayurvedic physician. And Ayurvedic physicians have a bachelor's in Ayurvedic medicine. And then many of them also become MDs. And so that's what Dr. Pensy is, and that's what his daughter is. And his wife, Aruna, is a master of Ayurvedic medicine, and she has a bachelor's of Ayurvedic medicine. And they practice in Pune, India. And that's where I got my longest training from. But my first training was with Deepak Chopra and his colleagues at the Maharishi International University. And I've written 2 books, and one is the A to Z Guide to Ayurvedic Healing from Ancient India by Dr. Helen Thomas, and you can get it on Amazon. And the other one is Effortless Beauty. So today I want to talk to you about one specific herb called Brahmi. And Brahmi is a well-known herb in, you can go to any grocery store and find Brahmi. It's also sometimes thought of as Godakola, but actually they're cousins to each other. So with every single Ayurvedic herb that I talk about, okay, and I'll just show you that, okay, there always includes the botanical name, which is in this case Bacopa moniaera, and the natural order, which is Scrophulaceae. I can't even say that. But if you're a botanist, you would be able to say that. And the classical names that, for example, as you can see here, that Brahmi comes first, and all the other names, okay, are all classical names that are well known in Ayurveda circles, okay? And one is Saraswati, okay, which Saraswati is also known as, is a churna. Okay, and a churna means collection of spices, okay? So then the vernacular names, so the vernacular names is that throughout India, it's a huge country and they speak many, many languages. So you're gonna see the name of Brahmi, and if you don't know all those vernacular names, you're not going to recognize it. So there are many names for each herb that is used in Ayurvedic medicine because of how big the country is and how many different languages. So don't be worried about not knowing all of that. Just know that Brahmi has many names. And then there's the distribution. There's also the botanical description, which is that Brahmi is a small, creepy, marshy herb with branches 20 centimeters or more long. Leaves are short and oblong and cuneated to obovate, and flowers are solitary, axillary, white or purple tinged, and capsules are ovid. And the parts used are whole plant. Now the actions of the herb are, the plant is astringent, bitter, sweet, cooling, laxative, intellect promoting, anodyne, carminative, a digestive, anti-inflammatory, anticonvulsant, cardiotonic, bronchodilator, diuretic, emmenagogue, sudorific, reduces fevers, and it is considered a tonic. And in this database, okay, the database on medicinal plants used in Ayurveda, they're going to include every action of it. Each one of these 6,000 herbs that we're going to be talking about are actually, each one of them have many different actions when you understand more about how comprehensive these are studied and then how they are applied in everyday life. However, they're always famous for a single one or two things in the United States. So some people will say, oh, Brahmi is used only for this, but that is only a very small portion of what Brahmi actually is used for, and it's used in combination of herbs in many, many different ways for many different diseases. So the actions and uses, we'll go back to that. It is useful in gaseous problems. It's useful in neuralgia, inflammation, epilepsy, insanity, dementia, tumors, ulcers, splenomegalia, leukodermia, hoarseness, and many, many more. Okay, the stalks, the leaf, but they're always using these in combination. They're not just using Brahmi, but Brahmi is in that. And the reason why is because what Brahmi can do. Now, if you look at, it's also used as a poultice made of boiled plants and is placed on the chest in acute bronchitis and other coughs of children. Now, each herb is also explained, like I'll show you on this page, okay? If you look really closely there, that is the Ayurvedic explanation. And then there's the pharmacognosy. And then there is the, let me see that, the chemical constituents and the pharmacological activities. And this, I haven't even shown you all the pages, and this is just on one herb, okay? So they, and then they tell you and explain to you after they explain, then they say, like, for example, for mental distress, okay? You use it as a juice, 10 to 20 milliliters is the dose, or you can have it as a powdered drug and use 5 to 10 grams, which 5 to 10 grams is like a teaspoon. And so just quickly here, here's a picture of Brahmi, and they have a picture of every one of their 6,000 herbs, okay? Okay, and then they go on to teach us about the, hold on, the therapeutic evaluation, okay, like that, you see that really close, okay, and the formulations and preparations, the trade and commerce, the substitutes and adulterants that you might find on the market, the propagation and cultivation, and then they have a bibliography for each one of these 6,000 herbs on what research has been done. And so on this page, okay, there's this, these are the research and the bibliography that you can just follow up on and go look and read. And there are, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 pages of bibliography and research.